Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Can you hear me? Give me a yes if you can hear me. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm going to talk to you guys about the BET Awards. Give me a yes or no in the chat if you watched even 3 seconds of the BET Awards last night. I'd like to know how many of you sat through some of this, which wasn't entirely torturous. It was just interesting. Give me a yes or no if you saw any of it. Sharon says she saw a little bit of it. And somebody says, I love Cardi. Okay, love Cardi. Okay, good for you. BET Ben fell off. I see that from Messiah Black. All right, so we're going to talk about the BET Awards, and we're going to kind of break some of that down. And I'm going to talk to you about 5 really disturbing things I saw in the BET Awards. And I'm going to say this in a way that is not disparaging the BET Awards, but is encouraging you to think a little bit about your culture and who's raping your culture. So get comfortable, buckle up your seatbelt. We're going to get started on drboycetv.com right now.
Here we are, clearing the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. If you are not Black and intelligent, you are certainly welcome to get the fuck out. This is a place for people that want to grow. This is a place for people that want to do better. This is a place for people that care about Black people. And we live by the B1 philosophy, B1, hashtag B and the number 1. B1 means that we are Black first. Black first means that we put our community at the top of the priority list. We will pay ourselves reparations before we wait on white people to do it. B1 also means that we understand that Black people can be number 1 in the world when it comes to financial literacy and wealth building within the next 50 years. That's Project 2070. We have a 50-year, 100-year, 200-year vision for the Black community. Also, B1 means that we understand we must be one in order to be successful. That means unity over fighting and chaos and ridiculous. We don't participate in the nigger net or the ridiculousness of some of what we see online, where you got 45, 50-year-old men acting like 17-year-old kids. We don't do that up in here. We're trying to be grown. We're trying to win. We're trying to compete. We're not trying to be some sort of ridiculous charity case for the white man. So that if you agree with that philosophy, put the hashtag B and the number 1 in the chat. Let me know where you stand. Now, with that being said, here's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about this in a way where I'm not sitting around just being a hater. You know, I remember when I was in my 20s. And it's funny, I went down to do an interview with Willie D and Scarface from the Ghetto Boys. And when I was there, I thought about a time where there was a lady named, what was that? Oh, my goodness. What was her name? She was known for challenging and critiquing hip hop back in the 90s for the disrespect that hip hop was showing toward women. Somebody say her name in the chat so I can give an ashe to this sister, because she deserves it. She deserves not just an ashe, but really an apology. But she was this woman that went on a national crusade where she was basically saying that, you know, that this music, remember at that time, hip hop had changed. Hip hop went from very positive to very negative, right? Hip hop, it was planned. I believe it was planned. I believe that the CIA was involved in all the Dolores Tucker. See Dolores Tucker. Ashe to see Dolores Tucker. Because a lot of us as young guys, we were kind of mean to her. I'm going to be honest. We were mean to her. You know, we really didn't have a lot of appreciation for what she was trying to do. And maybe she did it the wrong way. Maybe she came down a little bit too harsh. Maybe she came down as a mean, nasty old lady who just didn't try to understand what young people were dealing with and going through. I don't know, but I thought about C. Dolores Tucker actually when I was down and I remember that because I remember when Ice Cube and Scarface did a song, and Ice Cube is a friend of mine, and I say this with complete respect to him. I like Cube a lot. He's a great, and I remember they did a song that I liked at the time. Where anybody remember this? Give me a yes if you remember that song. Where kind of basically saying, F all the people that are saying that this music is bad. It's not our fault. we're just making our money and everything's okay. And now obviously I'm summarizing, I'm oversimplifying the message, but it was basically giving the middle finger to C. Dolores Tucker. Now somebody says sound, Doc, can you hear me okay? Give me a yes if you guys are able to hear me okay. Give me a yes if you can hear me okay. I hope you guys can hear me. I want to make sure my audio is coming. Dolores Tucker was that she went about it the right way, or that they didn't have a legitimate, in the way that they did. I'm just here to say that maybe we should have listened a little bit more, right? Now somebody says it's choppy. My audio is choppy. So you know what? I'm gonna try a different approach. Let me see if I can do this through. I don't want to do it through my cell phone though. I really kind of want to do it the way we're doing it now. So somebody says it's choppy. Okay, give me a yes if you can hear me clearly. I'm cutting in and out. Crap, man, this makes me mad. Let me see here. Let me see if I can do something with my Wi-Fi. Hold on, guys. Give me a second. Yeah, there's really nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. It sounds like T-Pain robot voice. Lord, shoot. All right, so I might have to bounce out. So give me a second. Hit the thumbs up button while I do this. All right, so I'm going to try a different approach to see what I can come up with here. I'm on my honeymoon this week, and the audio. Sometimes you go places and you get bad Wi-Fi, and so that's why I don't like to travel as much. So let me go in and try something different here. Hold on. Now, are you guys able to hear me now? Am I coming through okay now? Is this better? Give me a yes or no if this is coming through better. I'm gonna try to switch out my hold on. This is better? Okay, you can hear me better? Okay, good. All right, so let me remove this. All right. So I'm coming through okay. Okay, good stuff. All right. So there we go. Look at that. Wow. All right, I appreciate your patience. So here's my a feeling like people like C. Dolores Tucker and the Reverend Calvin Butts were full of it, and they need to let young people be young. I kind of learned over time as I got older is that she did have a point. She had a very valid point. Okay, I'm breaking up again. Oh no, am I going in and out again? Am I here? Can you hear me? It's worse. No way. Oh man, hold on. It's choppy again. Still a robot. You know what, guys? I think I'm gonna have to cancel this. I am so sorry. It sounds like I won't be able to do the whole podcast today. I'm gonna try to find a better way to do it. Maybe I'll record it and load it and run it as a live stream. I am so sorry. Okay, Danielle says she can hear. Okay, somebody says I'm good. All right, so it's going up and down. All right. So all right, guys. Okay, you can hear better now. All right, so I'm gonna keep talking then. All right, so let me know if you can hear me okay. All right, she was right. Right, that's the point. The point is that C. Dolores Tucker was to know, do you think hip hop's gotten worse since, say the early 90s, when music was used to make black people smarter, when music was used to make black people better, to make black people wealthier, to make black people more politically engaged in a positive way? Give me a yes or no. Do you think hip hop got worse? I'm going to say that I think it got worse. I really do. I think that hip hop has gotten kind of crazy and ridiculous, and black people are dying because of it. And we don't even know why they're dying. We just know that they're dying, and we're told by white people that it's police that are killing all the black people, when really it's probably deeper than that. It's probably much deeper than that. And nobody wants to have that conversation. Everybody wants to have the conversation about, cops killing police, but nobody wants to have a conversation about rappers glorifying the killing of black people, right? Cops killing police. I mean, cops killing black people. So people want to talk about cops killing a black man, but nobody wants to talk about how many black men are dying, and that death is being celebrated through the music. When we're rapping about how great it is to see a black man get killed, I'm not really sure how we can say that that is a healthy kind of relationship with our community and who we are. So let me go ahead and just go through this. Hit the thumbs up button, and I'm sorry about all the technical difficulties, but we're gonna work through this. Let me show you an image that I'm gonna pull up on my screen, and this is an image of the Migos. Now the Migos are an interesting little group. You know, they remind me. Let me know if you can see it. They remind me of like the Muppets. And the reason they remind me of the Muppets, I don't know if anybody remembers the Muppets, but the Muppets were like sometimes when they would talk, they had one this chef that would talk like he would go right, and he would talk and you didn't understand a damn thing he was saying. He sounded weird as hell. And the Muppets are kind of like that, like kind of mush mouth, right? They're rapping, you know, like TikTok, hopscotch, making a hat with some O socks, gotta go fancy got coke shots. Gonna go back to the coca, right? Now here's the thing with the Migos, they're really funny to watch. You know, I swear, like when you actually have seen like what real hip hop music looks like, and you've actually seen examples where people actually take the time as artists to make music that is actually musical and lyrically challenging. It's hilarious to watch the Migos. Like they're funny as fuck, right? They're literally kind of a joke. Like they remind me that, you know, I mentioned this on my Instagram. My Instagram is the real Boyce Watkins. They remind me of a group of, like, if you get a group of kindergartners together and you say to the kindergartners, I want all y'all to just get together and make up a song and make it up right now. Make it up. I want you to do the song in 2 minutes and then start rapping the song. And think about how that would sound, right? It would sound crazy. Like the kids would be like screaming over each other and la la la, boo boo boo, I got blah blah blah, right? And it would sound stupid. Well, the Migos kind of remind me of that. Now, again, part of that is due to the fact that I'm probably not young and stupid enough to appreciate this. Now, don't chalk it up to just me being older. Then, you know, the fact that I'm not 22 years old is not the only reason why I can't appreciate the Migos. Like, because I had young people say, "Doc, you just too old. You just can't get it. You just too old." No, 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 no. I know a lot of young people. I know a lot of 18-year-olds who can't stand that shit either. I know 18-year-olds who are very intelligent who are like, man, what is this bullshit? They'll go hit up some Kendrick Lamar. They'll go listen to some D1 and love it. They'll go here, you know, listen to some of the young artists that are really doing the damn thing. But they're secretly wondering why in the hell white people. Now remember, everything goes back to white people because, you know, they kind of own this country, right? So they wonder, like, okay, why are white people picking these three guys who, you know, unfortunately they sound a little ignorant. I'm not going to say that they are ignorant. They sound a little ignorant. Why are they picking these three guys over all the other brilliant young artists that are out there? Like the guy who made the song for this podcast is named Garvey G. Garvey G is 18 years old. He's from the hood, but he's intelligent. He's an intelligent rapper that actually creates extraordinary lyrical content that disqualifies him from the BET Awards. That disqualifies him from Warner Music and Apple Music and Spotify. So don't make this a young that loving the Migos makes you a bad person. I'm just saying that there's a reason why white folks like to pick the dumbest black guy in the room and make him a leader. There's a reason why they want to pick the most self-destructive, unproductive person. They pick the drug addict who can't spell his own name, who promotes ignorance to millions of people. They pick him and they put him at the front of the room and make him the leader because they don't want you led nowhere. You don't believe me? Look around. Look at your community. Look at your community. I mean, do you see progress? You see people building, and like if you go to black neighborhoods, are people building rocket ships to go to Mars? You see them developing the next Facebook and Google and all. I mean, en masse. I'm talking about thousands of kids. You see thousands of children that are going to be engineers, doctors, lawyers, and whatever. Or do you see a lot of kids imitating some of their favorite rappers? And dressing like them, wearing the same jewelry, getting the same tattoos, speaking the same, fucked up, broken language, right? This is all by design, and I'm not. So this is not this is not me saying the Migos don't have a right to rap. They do. That's fine. But I think you should probably take a moment and ask yourselves, why do they pick the Migos to be at the top of the food chain and ignore everybody else? This is warfare, black people. Like, this is how warfare is conducted. If you understand the history of the CIA and you understand the history of all the different sinister ways that they have worked to destroy black people, then this makes perfect sense. You kill them through the music. Dr. Wesley Muhammad uses a great term. He calls it the weaponization of hip hop. I was in Philadelphia this week, and I met with one of the great musical geniuses of all time. His name is Kenny Gamble. Kenny Gamble is responsible for the creation of pretty much anything amazingly musical and black in the whole city of Philadelphia, the whole Philadelphia sound. Gamble and Huff, they wrote 3,000 songs. They're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Mad respect in the hood. He went back to the hood, bought his whole neighborhood. He owns millions of dollars worth of property down there. And I'm not going to reveal much of our conversation because that was private. But there was a discussion where that whole meeting, did anybody ever heard about that meeting that they allegedly had in the early 1990s where they brought, where there were people in the room who were talking about a plan to use hip hop music to fill prisons with as many black men as possible? Anybody ever hear about that meeting, that secret meeting? Now, I agree with you, Johnny Daniels. You can't blame hip hop. You can't blame hip hop. We're not blaming hip hop. We're not blaming black people. The Migos are simply being who they are. You know, I'm not talking about the Migos. I'm playing above the rim. I'm not playing below the rim. I'm playing above the rim. Well, I'm not playing checkers. I'm playing chess. I'm not talking about the Migos. I'm talking about the people who own the Migos. I'm talking about the white man who decided to sign the documents that put them on top of the BET, which is a white-owned network owned by Viacom. So this ain't me talking about the Migos. I want to make sure this is clear. This is why I say my platform is for intelligent black people, because you got to want to be intelligent to really understand what I'm saying here. Like when I talked about Lizzo, I wasn't talking about Lizzo. I was talking about the people who pay Lizzo, right? I don't want to talk to Lizzo. I want to talk to Lizzo's boss. So that meeting, when that meeting came up in the meeting, when I was talking with Kenny Gamble, I was very surprised by the fact that a lot of people in the music industry believe that meeting took place. A lot of insiders in the music industry find that whole story to be a distinct possibility, to be quite plausible. Like I'm talking about in music industry insiders who know the executives, who know how the industry works. I thought that this letter was more like I thought it was more of like a Willie Lynch kind of thing. You know how people say the Willie Lynch letter may or may not have happened, even though it's pretty true on a fundamental level. But there's a debate as to whether or not the Willie Lynch speech actually occurred. This particular thing with the hip hop meeting, where they were planning on how to use hip hop music to basically get black men to want to go to prison, to get them to do things that are going to get them locked up, to get them to use illegal drugs, to get them to kill each other, to get them to do things that are going to put themselves in vulnerable situations. There are people that believe that this happened. And I still don't know for sure if this meeting happened or not. But what I can tell you is that you see the evidence everywhere that whatever they tried to do, it was a success. You can't tell me that it was a coincidence that hip hop went from being very positive to being very destructive. You can't tell me that it was just happened. That hip hop one day we're talking about fight the power, and KRS-One is saying you must learn, and Queen Latifah was saying who you calling a bitch, right? To suddenly all the women are bitches and hoes in every song. To suddenly, instead of fight the power, you are making yourself into a Klansman by bragging about how many black people that you killed today. This was right after they took black leadership out of and killed black civil rights movements by getting a lot of the Panther leadership on crack cocaine. Remember that, right? Some of the Panther leadership and some of the key players in the civil rights movement were not doing what they did. They didn't continue their movement in the 70s, 80s, and 90s because they were smoking crack, right? So the drugs were used as a way to keep the black man from ever becoming even a fraction of what he was supposed to be. Again, nobody's afraid of a drug addict. The drug addict has no power. The drug addict it gets dominated by the drug pusher. So many of our people are the addicts, and they are the pushers. Now I'm gonna pull another picture up. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe button. Let me know if you can hear me. Give me confirmations constantly that you can hear me, because I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable right now with the fact that my audio wasn't going through okay, and I feel very bad about that. And so I appreciate your patience. All right, so give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna pull up another image about another thing that disturbed me about the BET Awards, and this is something a lot of you have talked about. People talked about my Instagram. My Instagram is a real Boyce Watkins. So if you want to join intelligent conversations, feel free to follow me on Instagram. Check that out. Lil Nas X. So you got Lil Nas X pursuing the buck broken agenda, right? This is being promoted. BET is owned by Viacom. Viacom is not a black-owned company, right? So BET is not a black company. BET is a company that sells black people. They're not here to serve black people. They sell black people. So they sell the black audience to to large corporations, and also just because of the way I think, I admit I'm such a weirdo. I think completely differently from most other people. I watch the commercials very closely. You can learn a lot about how they view black people by the types of commercials they run and what elements they put in those commercials. So what I noticed was that I noticed a lot of corporations partnering with entertainers, and they would do a commercial for, like, say, a car. It might be a Toyota Corolla or something, or let's say a Lexus. And what they'll do is they'll have some cool music, some nice warm beat going in the back, doom, 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 right, whatever, right. And then they'll have some cool looking guy getting in a Toyota Corolla, and he'll be talking about the culture. He'll be talking about, I really care about the culture, and I really care about my people, and blah, 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 right. And somehow caring about the culture and caring about your people leads you to conclude that you should buy a Toyota Corolla to prove that you care about your people, right? And there's nothing, I'm not saying there's anything sinister about this. I'm not trying to make this a conspiracy theory. What I am trying to say, though, is that you can learn from that by kind of observing what they're thinking about black people. In every commercial, remember, I'm talking to you guys as a business school professor when I explain this to you. In every commercial, every single thing has a meaning. What the person says means something. What they're wearing means something. The ethnicity of the person means something. What's behind them when they're talking means something. What imagery they put on the screen means something. The music that they play means something, right? So what I see is the results of things like the Nielsen study, where they basically said that black people listen to celebrities more than any other ethnic group, because black people don't have a strong cultural identity. We are heavily, heavily, heavily influenced by celebrities. They pretty much said in the Nielsen report to white people wrote this report about black people, two other white companies. They said, if you want to sell something to black people, basically, you should put a celebrity in your commercial. And also, black people like to be stylish. They like to be stylish and trendy and cool, right? And now I'm not, which makes me a little bit weird, because I never cared about being stylish, trendy, and cool, because my mama always said, I had friends that would have the latest, like, nicest blue jeans, name brand this, name brand that. And my mother was like, that stuff doesn't mean anything, because you need to have respect for who you are without all those labels defining you. And years later, when I saw those same friends growing up uneducated, unemployed, in prison, or some of them dead or on drugs, it kind of reminded me of what my mother used to say about the flaws of going along with, quote unquote, the culture, or going along with the trends and the fads and doing what everybody else is doing, right? Because the culture, unfortunately, right now, what they define as this particular culture is promoting extreme drug addiction. I don't know of a single drug addict anywhere who is doing well. How many of you know a drug addict that the person that you knew from school that's now a drug addict who's doing really well, who's flying high, who's kicking ass and taking names on top of his shit? You probably don't. How many of you, how many of you know, remember, the culture is also promoting criminal behavior. How many people do you know that engage in consistent criminal behavior who are doing well, right? It promotes sexual irresponsibility, right? Which is where this Lil Nas X imagery might come into play. How many people do you know who are just completely sexually irresponsible? I'm talking about, like, I'll dip my penis into any toxic waste dump that happens to walk by, or I'll get with any man who has swag, right? If he talks a good game and he has swag, like my favorite rapper, I'm gonna give him some pussy and hope for the best, right? And then the next thing you know, you got a string of baby daddies that are all pretty much worthless, and your kids are looking at you like, mama, what's going on? Were you a hoe? Were you not thinking? Like, what the hell, mama? Like, why do I got a daddy who I can't even look at in the eye because this nigga's a piece of shit? Excuse my French. I didn't mean to say that, but I'm sorry. I got a little carried away. I promised myself I'd stop using words like that. But seriously, y'all know what I'm talking about. Like, we don't talk about this, right? These are the hard conversations that black people do not have enough. Some of us do. Since I've been in Vegas, I have bumped into so many intelligent black people who stop me as I'm walking through the hotel and whatever. And we take a picture, and I love you so much when I see you. And if I ever see you, I'm gonna try my best to give you a hug, because I appreciate you, because you give me hope. You give me hope for the future. But what I'm trying to say is that there just are not enough black people having those conversations about cause and effect. And I know exactly where that comes from because remember, my wife is a brain scientist. We understand at a pretty deep level what they're doing to you when they're programming your subconscious mind to engage in the very same behavior that's going to lead to all the outcomes that you see all around you. They everything that you see, the BET Awards, I'm not picking on BET with this. I'm pointing out BET because BET is the cultural epicenter of much of what's driving and encouraging and inspiring a lot of the things that you're seeing in your community where people are really struggling, right? And so here's the thing. If you want to if you want to figure this out, you're gonna have to start playing above the rim. If you're gonna figure out the game, you got to start playing chess. You keep playing checkers, you're gonna keep getting played. And BET is basically, unfortunately, in these shows, they're pretty much saying to black people, don't worry, everything's cool. Keep playing checkers. It's going to be all right. Why? Well, because the Democrats got your back. Stacey Abrams got your back. So some politician's going to come along and have your back. So keep fucking your life up. Keep putting yourself in miserable situations. Keep making really horrible choices when it comes to drugs, when it comes to women and sexuality, when it comes to criminal behavior. Keep promoting the very worst to your children. Keep promoting ignorance, and the Democrats going to save you from all of that, right? So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Casey Jones says the trolls are in the comments. Yeah, I can't see the trolls because I'm really focusing on what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to see. I'm not trying to say. I don't care about the trolls right now. I'm trying to focus on black people, not trolls. Y'all might be some damn Russian bots for all I know. So, but catch your trolling ass up in here. You know you're gonna get bounced out. So please go ahead and reveal yourself so my moderators can send you to hell forever. All right. So you look at Lil Nas X. And you look at this image here. This is another one. Right here. This is him wearing his big beautiful dress. And again, that's the butt broken agenda. Their goal is to basically, remember Malcolm X used to talk about this. He talked about how the goal of America was to never allow the black man to become a man. That's the goal. You do not want the black man to become a complete man. He could be a man in stature, maybe as long as he's like a professional basketball player who just shuts up and dribbles, then that's okay, right? That you can be a man as long as it's in a contained space, like a gorilla. Like a gorilla can be full gorilla when he's sitting in a cage with other gorillas. When he's sitting in the cage with other gorillas, he can go full unga bunga. He can pound his chest. He can act as much gorilla as he wants. But the gorilla is not allowed to come out into society. If the gorilla comes out of that cage and he leaves the circus, then the gorilla will get shot. The gorilla will get shot. So basically, the black man is contained. Their belief, in my view, and Malcolm kind of argued this as well, is that you want the black man to see a certain element of his power in a certain context. Like if he's playing basketball or football for white people and entertaining white people, then he can be full gorilla. He can be as much of a man as he wants to be. But when he goes into, say, the workplace, you make sure that he doesn't have too much power. You don't you don't put him at the top of the food chain. You put him at the bottom. When he goes out into society, you don't want him asking critical questions, right? Which is why a man like a Dr. Claude Anderson is pretty much practically ignored by white society and avoided as much as possible, right? You don't want him to experience the fullness of his manhood when it comes to defending his community and fully negotiating and standing up for his community in every way imaginable. That's why they work so hard to keep guns out of the hands of black men. That's why I respect guys like Maj Toure so much, because Maj Toure from Black Guns Matter is saying, it's time to be men. It's okay to get a gun. Now, I'm not telling everybody to get a gun. That's your decision. But there's a reason why they specifically made laws to keep guns out of the hands of black men, and also to make sure black men could not read. Remember, there were laws against that, right? And to keep black men in a certain place, a certain class of society where they could be controlled, because that sort of power and rage, if it's unleashed, if you create, 10 million, imagine if there were 10 million Boyce Watkinses running around here saying the things that I say and doing the things that I do, well, that would be a big problem for them, right? They couldn't play those games that they play with us, right? The way that they do, right? So another part of that butt broke agenda, or that keep them as little boys agenda, comes in the form of what Lil Nas X is doing. Lil Nas X is celebrated because he shows up at every event wearing a dress. He shows up at every event kissing dudes and talking about how he wants the devil to fuck him in the ass. He literally, he did a video about this, I swear to God. And now, mind you, and I want you to really think about the sickness of this. I need you to process the depth of debauchery that's really going on here. Now, this is not anti-LGBT. I told you I don't have any belief when it comes to controlling what other people do in the bedroom. Half y'all in here might be freaks for all I know. I have no idea what y'all doing in the bedroom. I don't even care. But when you start coming in front of my kids and you are marketing to children a guy who says, I want to go do a lap dance on the devil and have him pump me in the butt. Well, then at what point as a father am I supposed to say, come on, man, come on. Like what's going on here? I'm not even going to talk about what this man does in the privacy of his own life, but you're marketing the broke agenda to black people. Why is that? Well, because once again, with the agenda to make sure the black man is not a threat, the goal is to either keep him as a little boy or to keep him as a little girl, one or the other. If he's a little boy or a little girl, he's never a threat, right? So effectively, when you go back to the Migos, there's an image. I wish I could find it. I'm going to try to Google search for it, but I saw this image of the Migos where they were doing a Sprite commercial. And in this Sprite commercial, remember the Migos they were also being celebrated at the BET Awards, and they were in this Sprite commercial, and I believe it was Sprite, and they were on. Here we go. Oh shit! I'm gonna pull this. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. I want y'all to see this image. This is the type of shit I think about, and maybe I'm a weirdo for thinking about this. I probably am, because a lot of our people think that you're being overly sensitive when you bring this up. But remember, it's the fact that you don't understand what's going on. You can't see the big picture, that they keep on playing you, that your community is not moving forward. You just don't. You just think it's because you're just having bad luck or whatever. No, it's because there is an agenda here, but it's very, very it's very complex. It's hard to pick it up. Now look at this image right here. Remember, now go back to what I said earlier about how the goal is to keep the black man as a little boy or a little girl. Now I need y'all to answer this question for me. These are grown ass men. Why are grown ass black men doing a commercial riding motherfucking tricycles? Can somebody please tell me why these black men are doing a commercial? Somebody paid the money these are fathers. Then they're riding tricycles or big wheels or whatever the fuck those are. I'm sure they're chromed out. I'm sure they blinged them out. I'm sure they gave them, some fancy spinning wheels with some diamonds on them, right? But they're presented as children. There's a reason for that. It's because that makes them fun and lovable to white people. Like, oh, they're not scary, threatening black men. They're just little kids on tricycles. They're little boys. They're babies. Oh, they're so cute. They're so adorable. Oh, you just make me laugh. Right? And that is no different from taking a big bear, a big ferocious bear that's 1,000 pounds that could kill you with one punch, and put him in the circus and putting a little clown hat on the bear and having the bear ride a tricycle. Now the bear is no longer scary and threatening. He's no longer fulfilling God's purpose of being one of the kings of the jungle or the kings of the forest. Now he's this cute little bear with a circus hat, and he's riding a tricycle, and the children think he's adorable. Now, the minute that bear wakes up and says, you know what, I don't like this shit. I don't like this guy telling me what to do every day. I don't like being in this cage. And the minute that he stands up and says, I'm going to really fulfill my true destiny according to God, I'm really going to become a bear. I'm really going to fulfill my potential. Then that's when he busts out of the cage, and that's when they shoot him. Right? So when black men bust out of the cage, it like when you look at basketball, when Ron Artest said, nah, to hell with this. I'm not letting these white people in the stands throw beer cans at my head. I'm going to go up in the stands and I'm going to get to whooping ass. Anybody remember that? Anybody remember when Ron Artest jumped out the cage? And remember when that happened, they gave him the stiffest penalty in the history of the NBA. The stiffest penalty ever. I don't remember how long he was suspended, but it was a long time. Anybody remember that? Give me a yes or no if you remember when Ron Artest jumped out the cage and went up into the stands and beat some white guy's ass because he got sick of the shit, right? Or remember when Latrell Sprewell years ago, this is going way back, when he got pissed off at PJ Carlesimo, his coach, and said, you ain't gonna talk to me like that, and he choked PJ Carlesimo. He also got, if I'm not mistaken, the largest, if not one of the largest penalties in the history of the NBA. There's a pattern here, black people. There's a pattern. The pattern is that if you stay in the cage, then you're okay. You will be rewarded as long as you maintain yourself as a little boy, a little girl, or a circus pet. Then it's all good. It's all gravy. If you run around here and you're doing the butt broke agenda, you Lil Nas X, you showing up to the events with a dress on, or maybe you're a thugged out rapper who just says, I'm only gonna kill other black people. I'm not gonna rap about killing Jewish people, or I'm not gonna rap about killing Asians. I'm not gonna rap about killing white people, but I'll rap about killing a nigga in a second, right? Then that makes you celebrate it, right? As long as your masculinity is kept in a cage, then you're good. If you are a little boy, a little girl, or a circus pet. So I want y'all to start doing this exercise. Whenever you see a black person that is doing really well, that's getting paid, that's making tons of money, I want you to see if they fit in one of those little categories. Have they presented themselves either as a harmless little boy, which might be like the Migos riding a tricycle, in a Sprite commercial, or maybe a comedian telling jokes, right? If you're telling jokes, you can't be a threat because you're funny, right? You're cute. Kevin Hart's cute, right? He's adorable because he's telling jokes, right? Or a little girl, a Lil Nas X, right? Or somebody promoting that, that whole agenda, right? Or a circus pet, maybe somebody that's either an athlete that is big and strong or whatever, but they kind of go along with whatever is being said and what they're supposed to do, right? Or you're talking about maybe some of the artists that are like, yeah, I'm a thug, I'm a big man, I'm a badass man, but I'm only going to turn this badness toward my brother. I'm only going to be a badass when I'm attacking other black people. But I'm not going to be a badass. I'm going to be very friendly when it comes to approaching everyone else, right? And that translates even sometimes even on the internet. You'll see people that have whole entire YouTube channels doing nothing but attacking black people and black businesses, but they have nothing to say about white people and white businesses because they are afraid. That is an agenda. That you are trained to do that, to turn that on yourself and on your own. And I want to make this clear too. When I'm talking about the Migos, I'm not really making fun of the Migos. Like if I ever met these guys, I wouldn't want them to sit here and think, man, you don't like us, man. You don't like us. No, I don't have a problem with you doing what you do. What I'm talking about is I'm trying to play above the rim. I'm talking about the people. I'm talking about your master. Whoever is paying you money or picking you out of all the other thousands of talented rappers in Atlanta. One thing I know about Atlanta is Atlanta has no shortage of talent. There are so many talented artists in Atlanta. So if that's the case, why did you pick these guys over everybody else? Because you didn't pick them because of their amazing lyrical dexterity. You didn't pick them because they represent the purest of hip hop. No, you didn't. You picked them. You pick people because of gimmicks. I understand how business works. People think entertainment's about talent. Man, that shit ain't about talent. It's about who has the best gimmick sometimes. That's why guys that wear the dresses get picked ahead of everybody else. So come on, man, get off that nonsense. Like, oh, it's because they have talent. The only reason you think the Migos have talent is because that's all you were exposed to. There are probably 5,000 other super talented artists out there that you never heard of because they will never, ever give those people a record deal because they're bringing something positive as opposed to bringing you poison. D1, for example, D1 could wrap circles around all these dudes, and D1 is a very smart black man who has more lyrical capability than damn near all these guys. You can, and it ain't just me saying it as a 49-year-old. You can ask a 19-year-old, and they love D1, right? So why is it that the BET Awards will embrace the Migos and Lil Nas X wearing the dress, riding the big wheels, but they won't embrace a D1 who's coming with positivity, who's coming with intelligence, who's coming with a different form of blackness that's going to give life to black people as opposed to death. Now, I've got a few more minutes, so I'm gonna dig into a couple more things on this. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button right now. Please hit the thumbs up button. My Instagram is the real Boyce Watkins. I need all the intelligent black people to come together. I just met a in the lobby of the hotel I'm staying in, and she said, "Yeah, we need your help to bring all the intelligent black people together because we got to fight some of this chaos. So I need all the intelligent black people to hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe button. All the idiots, please don't touch anything because I don't want you here. In fact, at some point you're going to end up getting banned from the channel. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter. My Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins and the number 1, Dr. Boyce Watkins 1. So I mentioned to you guys that I wanted to talk about 5 things that bothered me about the BET Awards. One thing I'm going to mention very quickly, and I'm not going to really go into this very much, but I really think it's important to also talk about the extensive celebration of Cardi B, right? Cardi B, who actually, if I were to be honest as I could be, I would say that Cardi B, I don't think she's a bad rapper. I really don't. I know some of y'all think she's complete trash. I don't think she's a bad rapper. I think she's very talented. Don't get me wrong. But I also think at the same time, she's very disturbed. I think also at the same time, we have to really ask ourselves what's really happening, what Pandora's box is being opened to children when you are promoting, a stripper, who used to rob and drug men, drug men so she could take their money and get them raped by a tranny. She's admitted to this. This is not me making this up. She actually talked about this. But again, because that black rage is in a cage, white people love that, right? They embrace a Cardi B, but they'll incarcerate a Bill Cosby, right? Well, why? Well, because Bill Cosby started using his masculinity in ways that were inappropriate to white people, right? He started using his masculinity to try to do things that would benefit black people, and therefore he becomes the enemy, whereas Cardi B is your ally when they effectively pretty much are accused of doing the same thing. So Cardi B, she's the former stripper who is now making a lot of money rapping. Her lyrical content, I study her lyrics because I have daughters. The lyrical content pretty much says that if a man offers you $20, you should be willing to have sex with him. And I have money. I could probably afford to provide a lot of $20 bills. So the idea that I can get access to a black woman's vagina for literally pocket change for the amount of money it would cost me to go to Wendy's is kind of an unfortunate way of portraying the black woman. It doesn't empower the black woman. It doesn't make her more precious and more valued in society. It really pretty much feeds into this idea that black women are just kind of worthless, right? Which I think also feeds into some of the conversation you've been seeing, where you have men that will say, why would I marry a woman that has kids? Like, when I can go buy me a couple hoes for $40, right? I can get me a couple cheap women for almost nothing. So why would you ever commit to a black woman just because you love her and you value her body and you value the black woman's womb? Well, I tend to be against the grain on that. I think the black woman's womb is actually pretty precious. Because that's where we come from. We all exist because a black woman put us through her body. We exist because some black woman loved us. I think that there's a way to express your freedom in your individuality as a person without, just shitting on every black woman within a 100-mile radius. But I think that it also becomes very interesting when on one hand, you'll hear people sort of making that same cry that we need to respect black women, but then you have music out here that really doesn't add value to the existence of a woman. To me, I'm a man. I'm a heterosexual man. I see everything that other men see. I know people think that because I'm a professor, I can't appreciate a nice ass. Well, that's not true. My wife is a PhD who's as brilliant as they come, but the third thing I noticed on her, after I noticed her smile and I noticed her great personality, was I noticed her shapely ass. So I appreciate all these things, right? All these things that Cardi will rap about, I understand all of those things. But I also kind of think that when you're talking about nation building, there has to be some element of logic and thinking and maturity that goes beyond this sort of incessant promotion of instant gratification. Right, this incessant promotion of cheap instant gratification, sort of living one cheap thrill after another until you just grow old and you die. Right, because when you live like that, when you think that way, then you don't build anything of value. You never have anything that's healthy for children. You never have anything that's going to benefit you as a man or as a woman. And then also, unfortunately, you end up in a place like poor DMX. DMX was a great rapper. He was very talented. I'm sure he was a great person up close, right? But I remember watching him in a video 20 years ago where they asked him, "What do you do with your time?" He said, "I smoke all day, fuck all night." Right? And that is what they actually refer to that in psychology as the instant gratification monkey. That the instant gratification monkey is where you're living like an animal, where you're only doing things that are easy and fun. Like easy and fun is it. Like things that are hard, you don't want to do that because they're hard. Things that are long term, long-term planning, long-term strategic thinking, the things that are required for nation building. Well, that shit don't interest you. Why would you sit around and make a 50-year plan for your family when you could go, smoke all day, fuck all night? Right? That's more fucking is much more fun than planning, right? That's just true, right? It's not me making it up. It's just true. Right. So the thing that they're doing to you, here's what they're doing to your community. What they're doing to your community is they're getting you addicted to the instant gratification monkey. What they're doing with all this ridiculous entertainment, and the studies show that Black people watch more entertainment than anybody else, is they are getting you, they are weakening a section of your brain called the prefrontal cortex. And basically, the prefrontal cortex is the part of your brain that separates you from an animal. Animals only seek instant gratification every day. That's all they do. Like, that's all animals. Animals, if you look at a dog is not sitting around putting money in his 401k. He's not thinking about how he's going to take care of his wife and kids. He's not, thinking about, what contribution he wants to make to society. He's not thinking about how he can protect his community, right? He's not thinking about his health, right? All the dog is thinking about is getting some food, getting some ass. If he gets mad at somebody, he's going to fight him right away. If you give a dog a week's worth of food, the dog is not going to strategically plan out his meals so that the food can be rationed out over the course of a week. No, the dog is going to eat his ass off on day one, and he's going to be starving for the rest of the week. So when they are giving you all this brainless entertainment, when they are constantly feeding the incessant need for instant gratification and weakening the prefrontal cortex of your brain, which gives you the ability to engage in higher level strategic thinking, they're pretty much reducing you psychologically to the same mindset as a dog. Now, I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm not saying that these people are just dogs or anything like that. I'm not talking about one human being being better than another. I'm actually challenging you to be conscious of what's going on so that you can make a conscious decision to do better. Right? I'm talking to everybody. I'm saying, look, I'm presenting you with some data and facts to help you kind of make a decision so that you at least know what's happening, so that when you end up, 30 years old with 3 babies mamas, a bunch of STDs, no money in the bank, a 5th grade reading level, and a whole lot of other problems to go with it, just know that a part of the reason that probably occurred is because nobody ever sat you down like Uncle Boyce is doing and told you about the importance of long-term strategic thinking and the demon of instant gratification. So a Cardi B feeds into the demon of instant gratification. Everybody likes sex, including me. Everybody likes money. I talk about money all the time, right? So Cardi B is pretty much doing what I do as a finance professor. She's talking about sex and money. Well, we talk about similar things. We just talk about them in different ways, right? I'm just the guy who says, yeah, okay, I hear what you're saying, Cardi. Yeah, okay, shake a little. You said shake a little ass, get a little dough, shake it real fast, get a little mo. So you're saying that if you shake ass for a man, you can get money in your bank account. That way you in your mind can become an empowered woman because now you got money because you've been shaking ass for all these men in order to get paid. I get that. But what I would probably end up doing is I'd be the asshole who says, yeah, but let's think about this culture that you're indoctrinating little girls into. Are little girls empowered when they think that the only way they can make money is by shaking ass culture? Are little girls and little boys as well, are they going to be in a better life situation if you're pulling them into that stripper culture, which comes with a lot of killing? It comes with a lot of trauma. It comes with guys going to the club, getting drunk and high, and ended up with an 80-year prison sentence because they shot a nigga because he stepped on his toe. Right? I've seen these things. These things happen for real. A lot of you have seen these things happen in your life, right? I would say to Cardi, okay, I get that. I understand the importance of a woman being financially secure. My God, we both agree on that. But maybe if I'm talking to my daughters, I talk to my daughter about ways that she can achieve financial security without trafficking her body to random nasty ass men who are coming in with a whole lot of diseases, a whole lot of psychological dysfunction, and a whole lot of other problems that these little girls don't want to have. So what's happening is that, when you're just chasing the instant gratification monkey, you're going to end up making a bunch of really terrible choices that are going to put you in bad situations. And then what's going to happen is that at some point, somebody's going to say, oh, this only happened because you're black. It's not your fault. There's nothing you could have done, which instead of empowering you like you thought it was empowering you actually end up with less power because as your life is falling apart, you're being told that there was nothing you could actually do about it. There's nothing empowering about me telling you that you have no power. There's nothing empowering about me reminding you that you're absolutely powerless. Now, the last thing I'll say, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, share button, subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. Also, I want to remind everybody that if you want to do little things like invest for your family, we have something that is totally free called the $5 a day investing plan. If you haven't done it yet, I'll put the URL on the screen. It's firstshareofstock.com. So those who kind of get at least a little bit of what I'm saying, you're welcome to go there. You also get a lot of free information from the Black Business School. This is not an elitist conversation in the sense that you're only excluded if you come in here with a lot of negativity and a lot of chaos and all that. We ain't got time for that. But if you want to learn, like if you're in that category, I don't want you to think I'm talking down to you. I'm doing what Uncle Boyce is supposed to do. I'm the OG who is telling you I've seen a lot of things and I want you to understand the game. Okay, so I'm not being mean. I'm not trying to be mean to anybody. I just want to be honest with you. The best thing I can do to show my love for those who appreciate it is to be honest. Last piece I'm gonna throw in there in terms of what disturbed me about the BET Awards was usually when you see Black entertainment, you see somebody mixing in the Democratic Party. So the Democratic Party has it figured out. The Democratic Party knows that if we can link up with the rappers and we link up with the entertainers who are feeding toxic, unempowering messages of instant gratification to Black people that are going to keep them poor, broke, and miserable, then we can get in like Flynn because we can create the illness and then sell Black people the medication. It's no different from the grocery store that will sell you donuts and diabetes food in the front of the store, but then sell you diabetes medication in the back of the store. The white man is very good at that. He's very good at creating a problem and then paying himself to fix it, right? And so effectively, they link up with the hip hop artists. The hip hop artists tell you, to shake a little ass to make money or go out and slang some dope, go out and shoot somebody or whatever. And so so all this chaos is happening in our neighborhoods. And then the Democrats show up and say, we'll fix it, y'all. We get y'all. We understand y'all. Right. And they're feeding the instant gratification monkey. They're like, there's nothing wrong with you. Anybody who challenges you to do better, that's not your friend. Anybody who says that you can be empowered to make your own choices, that's not your friend, because everybody knows that being Black means you have no power. Everybody knows that being Black means that you chose, you couldn't help but to choose to have 5 kids with 5 different dudes. You couldn't help but to choose to get high every single day. You couldn't help but to choose to not learn how to read, right? Seriously, like that's what they do. So in the background, I knew at some point they were going to mention people like Maxine Waters and Stacey Abrams, people I have nothing against. I have nothing against these people. But again, these people are not B1 because they're not Black first. They're Democrat first, right? And so it doesn't mean we wouldn't have some things in common, but I'm not Democrat first. I have no loyalty to the Democratic Party. I have no loyalty to the Republican Party. I have loyalty to the Black community. I don't even have loyalty to all Black people. I like some Black people. I know that y'all working for the enemy. So some of our people, we know that they're not trying to help the Black community. We know that they are trying to create the chaos, right? We know that they want to come here just to be disruptive. Some of them are in the chat right now. So people like that, I'm not even here for them. So when I say Black first, I'm not even really just even talking about all Black people. I'm talking about Black people who want to build a better Black community. I'm talking about people who maybe fit in the category of Black nationalism, which Malcolm X used to believe in, where you educate your own kids, you create your own you support each other, people, whether they are white or black, right? And the fact that we think that you're only an enemy if you happen to be white is a little bit disturbing. So ultimately, what I just want to say to you guys in general with that, and then the reason that that's a problem is because BET is not a black-owned company. So somebody says, and oh Lord, okay, I'm breaking up again. Let me know. Give me a yes if you can hear me. Give me a yes if you can hear me. Am I back? I think I'm going to shut this. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know if you can hear me. What's wrong? Your internet is out? Yeah, this Wi-Fi is crazy. Okay, you can hear me now? Okay, thank you for your patience. All right. So the last piece I'm going to throw in here is this. BET was mentioning in the commercials and in some of the ads that they shape the culture. They were saying, we shape the culture and blah, 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 blah. Well, the reason that that's a very dangerous thing for them to be able to say, because it's probably true, is that BET is not a black-owned company. BET is owned by Viacom, which is a Jewish-owned company. Now, the thing that's interesting about BET to me is that there are a lot of things that they will market to black people that they would never market to the Jewish community. There are lots of things that they will allow an artist to say about black people that they would never allow that artist to say about Jewish people. And I personally think that that is something that you want to think about. It doesn't mean BET is always all bad. It doesn't mean BET is always, is always terrible. I get that. I know good black people who went to work for BET to try to have a positive influence on the type of content they create. I respect and I support all of that. And some of you may be listening, and I just want you to know, I feel your pain. I understand how you're trying to cover all your bases and bring in all different kinds of perspectives so that it all gets heard. But you got to remember, at the end of the day, the bosses are going to choose the direction of the network. And the bosses are not people that look like you. The bosses are people that look like, what's that guy's name? What's that old white guy's name that owned BET? I forgot his name, but he's just died. Bridgestone or Stonebridge. He had some weird name like that. I forgot. Sumner Redstone. That was him. Sumner Redstone. Everybody look up the name Sumner Redstone, who was the head of Viacom. And so ultimately, when you're talking about things like that, when you're talking about things like BET, you're not really talking about black entertainment or something that's built to benefit the black community. You're really talking about something that where a group of people saw that there was a market with black people. A lot of people see markets with black folks. Black people buy products. We engage in lots of consumer spending. We spend more of our disposable income than any other ethnic group for the most part. So they see take that audience, they sell that audience to major corporations that's trying to sell products to black people. So ultimately, I'm not one to criticize BET or to say that BET or the people that work there are bad people. I just want you to kind of know what it is, to know that when you're talking about black media, BET, in my view, does not fit into that category. Okay. So anyway, let me know if you guys are able to hear me now. I am so sorry that the audio is so bad. And Lady Has Faith says, I love you to death, all to death. But the only problem I have is that you are always talking about a woman's body parts. I could never disrespect my husband like that. Oh, you know what? She said, I think she thinks I disrespected you because I said you have a nice ass. Babe, do you feel disrespected by me saying that I think you have a nice ass? Okay, she smiled. So see, look at you being an old floozy. What's wrong with you, lady? No, so I'm so sorry. If it feels like I disrespected her, I apologize to anybody that feels uncomfortable with what I said. But I think it's okay to appreciate what your woman brings to the table. And it's not because it ain't. I mean, think about it. When you talk about relationships, it ain't just about personality and intellect. It's about the instincts that we have, what we like. Like it's okay for a woman to like a man with a decent penis, right? It's okay for a man to say, yeah, I like your curves, and I think that you can have both, and I'm not saying that this is true for everybody, but there are some of you guys out there that are getting different kinds of advice about what type of woman you should want. I encourage you to think about who you are and know the difference between what you want and what you need, and be okay with both. Acknowledge both of them. Acknowledge what you want, but then also acknowledge what you need, and then find the perfect blend of that, right? And it takes time, but that's what it is. All right. So okay, so Crazy Boss he's got my back. He says, compliment your wife, nothing wrong with that. Somebody, Lady Bunby says, that's your wife. You can say what you want. Okay, well there we go. So I got the stamp of approval. All right, guys. Well, I love you, and I hope that this was helpful to you. And I'm sorry about that audio nonsense. I'm gonna try to get that fixed for next time. But hit that thumbs up button. And by the way, this podcast is on Spotify. So if you go to Spotify and look up the Dr. Boyce Breakdown, or you go to drboycebreakdown.com, you can download the audio version of this podcast, and feel free to check that out. So have a good day, everybody. I love you, and thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones too late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
You said that.